darkness had draped the small town of Ravenwood as the clock struck midnight, casting an eerie silence over its narrow, winding streets. In a quaint cottage nestled at the edge of the town, lived a young woman named Emily. Little did she know that this night would unravel a spine-chilling tale that would haunt her for the rest of her days. As the wind howled outside, Emily sat by the fireplace, engrossed in a dusty old book she had found in the attic earlier that day. The flickering flames danced upon the walls, creating monstrous shadows that seemed to whisper secrets of the past. Unbeknownst to Emily, every tick of the antique grandfather clock echoed through the silence like a foreboding heartbeat. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the room plunged into darkness. A momentary pause filled the air before the lights flickered back to life. Emily, unsettled, dismissed it as a mere electrical glitch. Little did she realize that the shadows had started their sinister dance, playing tricks on her vulnerable mind. As Emily resumed reading, a soft creak echoed from the staircase. The suspense hung thick in the air, and Emily's heart raced as if trying to escape an impending doom. Another pause ensued, and then, a blood-curdling whisper echoed through the room, "Emily, I know what you did." The words lingered, leaving Emily paralyzed with fear. In the chilling silence that followed, Emily strained to hear any sign of life. The only sound was her pounding heart, the suspense escalating with each passing second. The whisper returned, this time more ominous, "You can't escape the shadows of your past." A shiver ran down Emily's spine, and she felt an invisible force tightening its grip around her. Desperate to dispel the growing unease, Emily decided to investigate the source of the whispers. With cautious steps, she ascended the creaky stairs, each one magnifying the suspense that filled the air. The house seemed to exhale a chilling breath as Emily reached the dimly lit corridor. A sudden gust of wind extinguished the candles lining the corridor, leaving Emily in pitch darkness. The shadows played tricks on her, morphing into ghastly figures that seemed to inch closer with every heartbeat. Emily's breath caught in her throat as she fumbled for her phone to cast a feeble light on the corridor. Just as the corridor seemed to stretch into an infinite abyss, a distant sound echoed, a child's laughter. The abrupt change in atmosphere brought a momentary pause to the suspense, leaving Emily bewildered. Was it a figment of her imagination or a sinister manifestation of the shadow's malevolence? A flicker of movement caught Emily's eye, and she glimpsed a shadowy figure at the end of the corridor. The figure beckoned her into the darkness, its form shifting between reality and nightmare. The suspense reached its peak as Emily hesitated, caught between the instinct to flee and the curiosity that gnawed at her. The whispers returned with an unsettling urgency, "Face the truth, Emily." The shadows seemed to converge, forming an ethereal specter that mirrored Emily's deepest fears. In that moment, time stood still, a punctuation mark in the night, a comma hanging in the air before the climax. Driven by a mixture of terror and curiosity, Emily pressed forward. The corridor seemed to elongate with every step, distorting her sense of reality. The whispers grew louder, merging with the dissonant echoes of the past. A sudden punctuation, a gust of wind, extinguished the last glimmer of light, plunging Emily into absolute darkness. In the void, the whispers reached a crescendo, revealing the haunting truth that had long been concealed. The shadows materialized into ghostly apparitions, replaying the traumatic events that Emily had tried to bury in the depths of her subconscious. The suspense shattered, leaving Emily exposed to the raw horror of her past. As the clock struck 3, the house fell silent. The shadows receded, and Emily found herself alone in the quiet darkness. The echoes of the past lingered, but the malevolent whispers had dissipated. The suspense had unraveled the tapestry of her secrets, leaving Emily to confront the haunting reality she had long evaded. With a heavy heart, Emily descended the staircase, the weight of the past lifting like a fog. The first light of dawn began to filter through the curtains, casting a new beginning on the town of Ravenwood. The shadows had retreated, leaving behind a tale of suspense, revelation, and the inescapable echoes of the whispering shadows. It was a stormy night, and the old mansion stood tall amidst the howling winds and flickering streetlights. The air was thick with tension as the clock struck midnight, signaling the beginning of an unimaginable horror that would unfold. Inside the mansion, a group of friends gathered for a daredevil adventure. They had heard the legends surrounding the place, whispers of ghostly apparitions and unsolved mysteries. Excitement and fear intertwined as they explored the dimly lit hallways. The leader of the group, Sarah, suggested they try a forbidden game rumored to connect the living with the dead. The atmosphere grew heavier as they gathered around a creaky wooden table, candles flickering with every passing gust of wind. The game began, and the room plunged into an eerie silence. As the clock ticked away, each minute brought with it a chilling revelation. Shadows danced on the walls, and the temperature in the room dropped, sending shivers down their spines. The group dismissed it as a mere coincidence, but the unease lingered. Suddenly, a distant sound echoed through the mansion, a faint whisper that raised the hair on the back of their necks. The friends exchanged nervous glances, questioning the origin of the haunting voice. The suspense heightened as they strained to hear more. With the passing minutes, the whispers grew louder and more distinct. It was as if the very walls held secrets eager to reveal themselves. A sudden cold breeze swept through the room, extinguishing the candles, plunging them into complete darkness. A blood-curdling scream pierced the stillness, and panic ensued. Someone had felt a ghostly presence, an icy hand brushing against their skin. The minutes dragged on like hours as the group fumbled to relight the candles, their trembling hands struggling to find matches in the dark. As the flickering flames returned, they noticed an old photograph on the wall. It depicted a family that once lived in the mansion. Their eyes seemed to follow the intruders. The story of the family unfolded in chilling whispers, each minute bringing forth a new layer of the tragic tale. With each passing minute, the supernatural occurrences intensified. Shadows materialized into ghostly figures, and distant footsteps echoed through the mansion. The friends clung to one another, fear etched across their faces. Just as the tension reached its peak, the clock struck 3 a.m., the witching hour. A ghastly figure materialized before them, its eyes piercing through the darkness. The room fell silent, the only sound being the erratic beating of their hearts. In that moment, the mansion seemed to come alive with the anguished souls of the past. The air was thick with sorrow, and the friends felt an invisible force guiding them towards a hidden chamber. The suspense reached a crescendo as they hesitantly entered, drawn by an otherworldly power. Inside the chamber, they discovered an ancient diary that chronicled the tragic events that had befallen the family. The room echoed with the tormented voices of the past, each word revealing a dark secret. As the minutes passed, the friends unraveled the mystery that bound the mansion to a cycle of restless spirits. As dawn approached, the once haunted mansion stood silent, its secrets exposed. The friends, now laden with the weight of the past, emerged into the light of day, forever changed by the harrowing experience. The minutes that had felt like an eternity now became a haunting memory etched in their minds.